We're going to start off with a chant. When I say justice, I want y'all to say for Andrew. For Drew. Justice. For Drew. Justice. For Drew. Justice. For Drew. Justice. For Drew. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Michi. I'm here with a group of friends of mine. We play Afro-Puerto Rican drum music called bomba. And historically, this is music of resistance. This is black music. This is music that tells the story of everything. Everything. It is the way that we express in times like this, especially when words escape us. Music is what brings the healing and what allows us to express ourselves. So in this song that we're gonna start off with, it is definitely a call to action. We say fire. We bring them fire. Candela, candela le damos. If they want fire, we bring fire. Sorry, I had to translate that for myself. And again, this is about we're standing up for ourselves. We are speaking up. We are not standing down. Justice for Drew.
Also, real quick, my name is Luis Perez. I'm also the vice president for VIPR. Just want to let you know that the Puerto Rican community is also standing here for social justice and for Drew.
Thank you, Lou. Candela, candela le damos, si quieren candela, candela le damos.
Candela le damos, si quieren candela, candela le damos.
Candela, candela le damos, si quieren candela, candela le damos.
It's important for us to understand that we here for justice,
Yes.
that this is not a celebration, this is not a party. What you just saw was musical resistance that's rooted heavily in the African community. So we just want to reiterate why we're here. We're here for justice for Drew, and that's what we're here for.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you sharing those sentiments. Peace, everybody. My name is Cal. I work with an organization that operates out of Jersey City. Firstly, I want to give my condolences to the family and anybody who personally knew Drew. I wasn't able to make the vigil, but the service is Saturday. If y'all can make it, please show some respect. Try to make it out there. Give your support. I would also like to share that as an independent individual and also as a member of an organization, we will continue to struggle with you through this effort until these demands are met. What happened to our brother is unfortunate, and it shouldn't have happened by any means. These police had other alternative means in which they could have handled this situation, and they didn't. And unfortunately, a life was lost. These demands that are put together by the community, by the hood, include the release of the body cam footage, which is being withheld by the mayor, by the police, by the AG. This includes an answer as to who made the call to enter the crib. This also includes direct monetary compensation for this family's suffering and loss. This also includes an immediate implementation of the policy that was supposed to be in place as of last year, and is still not in place, and an explanation as to why.
Right.
And lastly, this also includes a direct apology to the family and to the people from Mayor Fulop. As Black people, we need to understand that this is a unified struggle. This is a unified fight. As all oppressed people, we need to understand that this is a unified fight. These oppressors don't care about our lives. These oppressors don't care about our circumstances or our money. We need to stop fighting amongst one another and come together. This struggle is to obtain justice for Andrew. I personally didn't know the brother, but I have seen him around prior to this incident. And for me, honestly, I can't even imagine how y'all feel for real. As an African, I sympathize with you, and I give you my love and my condolences. I would like to pass it on to the next speaker, my bro Nev.
Justice? 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 Right. Right. So it's a lot of misinformation being circulated, right? And we know that the enemy thrives off of misinformation, right?
That's right.
So we here to stand for Drew. We here to stand with his family. And we also here to clear up some of that misinformation so that the people could be properly informed when we fight for justice.
Talk about it.
Because the fight doesn't end today. We know that. So we start with what we know, and then we go to what we don't know. What we know is that on August 27th, Drew was killed by JCPD. What we know is that his family called for help, and that call for help resulted in murder. This is what we know. What we don't know is the specifics on how Drew died, because the body camera footage hasn't been released yet. What we know is that in cases of fatality with police brutality, the case goes straight to the Attorney General. So our calls for action, our calls for justice have to be aimed at the right people. We can hold the city council responsible, we can hold Phillip responsible, but the investigation is in the hands of the Attorney General. That's our target. That's what we know. What we also know is that after Drew was shot, he was taken out by the police, and the police didn't communicate to the family that Drew was shot. What we know is that the family thought that Drew might have been injured with a pellet gun, that they were going to take him to a facility, that they should hear from him soon. This is what we know. What we also don't know, like Brother Kale said, is why a policy was implemented last year around this time and hasn't been put in place. An RMP, a program deriving from something called Arrive Together. Millions of dollars are thrown at social justice organizations, social justice initiatives from the state every year. There's money for these programs out there. There's money for de-escalation out there. There's money for the police to do their job better out there. That's what we don't know. What we do know is that Mayor Phillips said that this couldn't be implemented in the budget. It wasn't no money to move around. Right. What we also know is that, like we said, everything is in the hands of the Attorney General's office. But the day after the murder, and that's what we calling it, murder. We're not calling it a police-involved shooting. We calling it murder. That's what we calling it. So what we know is that the day after Andrew was murdered, Andrew Jerome Washington III, by the way, I was told by a family member to make sure that's properly understood. This is a family that's rooted in this community for generations. So we making that properly understood. What we know is that the day after Andrew was murdered, Phillip hopped on a fancy press conference and said that the use of force was justified, that the police followed the protocols, that he's sure from him seeing the body footage, which at this point we might as well say is illegal, if proper procedures are to have that information go straight to the Attorney General's office. So either he's lying about seeing it, or we got some further corruption, and the corruption we already know that's going on in our city. This is what we know. We here for information. We here as a call to action. And we here to tell the politicians we tired of their empty promises. We tired of their platitudes. We tired of them coming around for photo ops when people are hurt, when people are killed. We put our backs on the line. We put our feet on the pavement.
I know that's right.
And what we getting? What we getting?
Murder.
Murdered, beaten, lied on, treated like criminals. What we also know is that anytime one of our people is murdered, the media and the state propaganda will immediately find the quickest narrative that's conducive to not unifying our people, right? So the most common is that, oh, he was a criminal. Or in the specific action, oh, it was criminal activity going on. Officers felt threatened. This is what we know to be the common narrative. What we do know is that our beloved brother suffered from mental illness. What we do know is that he was a sweet man. But what we will not allow is the police in the city to say that his episode warranted his death. That's what we won't allow. That's what we won't allow. See, far too often, either we forget or it's just not apparent to us that these people technically work for us. They supposed to serve us. So why is it that after a brother is shot, they leaving and they giving no explanations to the family that's standing outside worrying? We gotta ask ourselves what their duties are. And if they can't perform their duties, then maybe we should be asking some more tough questions then. What we know is that everybody here that came here today wants justice for Drew. What we know is that we'll secure justice by any means necessary. At this point in time, we want to bring up our brother, Tony Perkins, who's Andrew's cousin, to speak to y'all. At the conclusion of that brother speaking, anybody that is a relative of Andrew that feels compelled to speak to the people, This platform is for y'all. This program was put together by the community. We here to support y'all. So anybody that wants to speak after TP, please feel free to. All power to the people.
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 No justice.
No peace.
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 Right now. Okay, now.
Peace, family. We gather here today not just in memory of my cousin Drew, but in search of justice, truth, and unity. Drew was more than a statistic. He was a son, a cousin, a brother, a friend. He was also a sufferer of bipolar disorder, a condition that needed medical attention, not the barrel of a gun. In our society, we often hear a phrase, innocent until proven guilty. Yet for Drew, this fundamental principle was turned on its head. The police invaded his home, and without due process of law, my cousin's life was abruptly and irrevocably ended. The mayor tells us this was justifiable. I stand before you to question, since when did a mental health condition become justifiable reason for execution? The sad truth is, Drew's story is not unique. It is part of a systemic issue where people of color and those with mental health conditions face disproportionate rates of violence and discrimination. And what is systemic can and must be dismantled systemically. The burden of this task doesn't lie solely with the aggrieved. It falls on all of us as members of this community to demand change. In a country we consider the pinnacle of progress and modernity, it's disheartening to admit the systemic shortcomings we still face. We tout advances in medicine and technology, yet we remain woefully inept at understanding and treating mental illness with the respect and attention it demands. Our police officers should be guardians, not warriors. We call for comprehensive training that covers not just marksmanship, but also crisis intervention, de-escalation, and implicit bias training. We need to redefine what protect and serve means, so that those pledges are not just empty words, but represent a social contract that values every single life. Ladies and gentlemen, empathy is not a sign of weakness. It's a marker of civilization. We must do more to understand mental illness, to decriminalize it, to destigmatize it, and to approach it the same seriousness and compassion that we do for physical ailments. Finally, let us not forget that unity is strength. We must come together, not just as a community of grieving relatives and friends, but as human beings who understand that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Thank you for your time And may Drew's life not be in vain. Together, let's make sure no other family has to enjoy what we have. Justice for Drew.
Justice for Drew.
I would like to call up our next speaker, Mr. Larry Hamm from People's Organization for Progress. Where are you, Larry?
Justice for Drew. Justice for Drew. Justice for Drew. Stop police brutality. Stop police brutality. Stop police brutality. No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
Police.
No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
Police.
No justice. No racist.
Police.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. Let us give the organizers of this event today a big hand. Build more unity. The Panther Solidarity Committee and any other organization that participated and is participating in this. Now is the time for a united front, because that's the only way we're going to get justice for Drew. Before I go any further, and there's not a whole lot more to say, Brother Tony said it all, Brother Nevis said it all. I do want to introduce the family of Andrew Washington to two other families that are here. Sitting to your right there is Sister Valerie Dale. Valerie Dale is the sister of Gulia Dale III, and Andrew Washington III. Gulia Dale was a major in the United States Army. He saw tours of duty in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Operation Desert Storm. He was a career veteran of the United States military. He returned to his home in Newton, New Jersey, only to be killed on the 4th of July. He survived Iraq, he survived Afghanistan, but he couldn't survive Newton, New Jersey. And I call Valerie for it because her brother, too, was having a mental health crisis, was having an emotional crisis. And he suffered from PTSD. And her family called for the police to come and help, because their oath is to what? Protect and serve. But that doesn't seem to work in our community, because within 12 seconds of arrival, they killed Major Gulia Dale dead. He couldn't even get out the truck. They killed him in his truck. There's another family I want to introduce. Marlene and her sister come forward, Marlene Lawrence. This is the mother, and I'll give them a big hand. Let me move over so y'all can stand together. Stand next to Andrew's mother. Bernard Placide is the son of Marlene Lawrence. He too was having a mental health crisis. He wasn't doing harm to anybody. He wasn't committing a crime. He was in his house. In fact, he was in a room in his house. The family called the police to what? To what? Protect and serve. And what did they do? Within seconds, they They came in, they tased him, he was disabled on the floor, and then the officer took out a gun and shot him dead on the floor. You see a pattern here? I understand something similar happened to Andrew. I wasn't there, but based on what I read, he wasn't engaged in a crime. He wasn't a threat to anyone. In fact, my understanding is the family didn't even call the police. They called the crisis unit. But who showed up? The police. They showed up. Did they show up like people come to aid someone in distress? No, they showed up in large numbers, bulletproof vests on, dressed like SWAT, because they came to kill. And that's what they did, they killed. In no one else's community does this happen. Y'all hear what I'm saying? In nobody else's community. Do you think what happened to Drew would have happened to a white person in Deal, New Jersey? Do you think what happened to Drew would have happened to a white person in Alpine, New Jersey, in Short Hills, New Jersey, in Livingston, New Jersey? No, you know it and I know it. It happens to poor people, working people, black people, Latino people, people of color, and damn it, we want it into it, and we want it into it now. Now, I need to apologize in advance to the family because I'm very emotional. And I had a talk with Miss Irvin, Andrew's aunt, last night, and you know, it was a cordial conversation. But I can't be cordial any longer. This is happening too much. The last time I was here in this park, Build More Unity and other organizations were having a march in the aftermath of George Floyd's death. Y'all marched from here up into the city, to the library, to the police station. I didn't know where y'all was going, but it looked pretty good, so I stayed with you as long as I could. They were marching. People were outraged. There were demonstrations all over the country. You would have think that in the aftermath of George Floyd, the cops would have got the message. You would think that they would have calmed down, that they would have used some different tactics. The fact of the matter is, they haven't calmed down. They have killed more people. Look, the statistics show that since 2020, they've killed more people than in any other year since they started counting the figures. The police in this country kill over 1,000 people every year. And over 35% of those people are black people. And they kill with impunity. And you know why they keep killing? Because they have an inherent sense that they're gonna get away with it. But by the numbers here in this park tonight, I got a feeling that we're not gonna let them get away with it. We can't let them get away with it. Andrew Washington should not be in the funeral home. He should be here with his family. He should not be in a casket. He should be here with us, with his family. But because we have a system of policing that from its very origins, as slave patrols, we have a system of policing that targets us, that profiles us, that kills us, but we're here tonight to say that we're not gonna take it anymore. Enough is enough. That officer, I know this is not in the original demands, and I apologize to the brothers, but as far as should be fired. He should be fired. No, not desk duty, not suspended with pay. No, he should be fired. Because brothers and sisters, if you and I kill somebody, we would be in jail now. They would set the bail so high, we would never get out. We would go from jail to court and then to the prison. There can't be two standards of justice. Can't be one standard of justice for the police and one for the rest of us. If you kill an innocent person, you should be prosecuted whether you have on a blue uniform or not. You should be prosecuted. That officer should go to jail. See, this is why they keep doing it. Because they get away with it. Because they don't suffer consequences. People say, well, yeah, the officer that killed George Floyd, he went to jail. That's one. That's 1 out of 10,000. Do you know how many cases of police brutality happen in this country? Never even get to trial. No, they have to understand that if they take innocent life, they have to suffer the consequences. They gotta lose their badge, their gun, their license, their job, lose their damn pension, and lose their freedom, because they should go to jail just like the rest of us. I mean, every answer is a militarized answer. They came to the house like they came for war. That's how they were dressed. They were dressed for war. They came to kill. And this is the time now that we need unity, and we need this community to stand up and fight back. We need, first of all, we need the community to wrap their arms around Andrew's family and give them the love and protection that they deserve. But see, there are people, probably some of them in City Hall, that think we're gonna have a rally, we're gonna blow off some steam, and it's gonna all go away. But I'm hoping that tonight will be the first of a long line of actions that we'll have until we get justice for Andrew. One of the things that we need, and I mentioned this already, and I'm gonna leave it to the family to decide, but there need to be a citywide march here in Jersey City. There need to be a citywide march with every organization. All these organizations that say they're about civil rights and human rights, I ain't gonna name no names, but all these organizations we have that claim to be for the people, we need to have a united front. We need to fill these streets like we filled them for George Floyd. And we need to keep them filled. We need to keep marching and doing anything else that's necessary until we get justice. Now, someone mentioned that the Attorney General's office has already started the investigation. Well, that's good, because we fought for that law. We fought for it. Our organization and other organizations, because there was too close a relationship between the local cops and the county prosecutor. So we said there got to be some distance. We called for an independent prosecutor. What it ended up being was that the Attorney General's office takes over the investigation if the police kill somebody. But that's not enough, because I'm here to tell you tonight, the Attorney General, his office investigated Gulia Dale's murder. And guess what? No indictment. They investigated Carl Dorsey's murder in Newark, New Jersey. Guess what? No indictment. They investigated the Rodwell Spivey brothers when they were brutalized by cops in Newark. Guess what? No indictment. They investigated the brutalization of Zakai Hussein down there in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Guess what? No indictment. That's not a good record. And I'm telling the family, don't get your hopes up high. After all of these cases, I don't have the same faith in the criminal justice system that some people have. But what I do have is faith in the people. That's what I have, is faith in the people. Because when the people unite and when the people fight, we can win. We can win. But I ain't gonna make no guarantees. I could stand here tonight and say we could win. What happened to the cops that killed Amadou Diallo? What happened to the cops that killed Earl Faison? They out. Some of them went to jail. I can't make any guarantees to the family. But one thing I can guarantee is that those of us who want justice, we standing by you tonight, and we gonna stand by you as long as you want us to stand by you. One of the things I want to call for tonight, yes, the Attorney General's office has launched their investigation, but I'm calling for the United States Attorney for New Jersey, Philip Sellinger, and I hope the press hears this. I'm calling on the U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, Sellinger, to launch an independent civil rights investigation into the death of Andrew Washington. You can have parallel investigations. Those of you in the back who followed the George Floyd situation, you know that there was 2 trials. They tried them cops by the state, that was the state attorney general, and they tried them on civil rights violations, that was the Department of Justice and the United States attorney. We got a United States attorney here in New Jersey, and we demand, I'm demanding that the U.S. Attorney's Office investigate the death of Andrew Washington to determine if in fact his civil rights were violated. This is important. And lastly, we got to put the heat on. We got to be in the streets, but the next city council meeting, all the people that's here, you need to be at the city council meeting. You need to be at the city council meeting because the city council shares some blame in this. Somebody told me that they had money to appropriate to the police for these kind of incidents, but the money hasn't been implemented. That's what I've been told. So the city has some culpability here. We got to put the pressure. Brothers like Zelly and Black Lives Matter, when Najee Seabrooks got killed in Patterson, they came out to every city council meeting. Yeah. And see, this is the part that counts. It's like when a man tells a woman, I love you. Women know. Take that with a grain of salt. Words are not enough. You want to see deeds. You want to see the love. See, the question is, are all y'all going to still be out here with the family a month from now? Are you going to be here 2 months from now? Are you going to be here 3 months from now? Are you going to be here as long as it takes? You're going to be here as long as it takes, because that's what's important. Fill up those city council meetings. March, protest, boycott. Let's find some economic target and withhold our money. Let's use our votes to block vote. Where are the elected officials tonight? Any elected officials here tonight? Where? Right here. Give him a hand. He's here. But the other one, how many on the council? Where are the other ones? See, this is what you got to remember at election time. Who was there when you needed them? Who was there? Who was there? He's here. Where's everybody else? We need community control of the police, brothers and sisters. And I'm going to sit down on this because I know I'm beyond my time. But we need community control of the police. Jersey City, Newark, Patterson, Atlantic City, Trenton, all these cities should have police review boards with subpoena power to prosecute these cops. What's the bill? A1515. See, in Newark, An attempt was made to establish a police review board, but what happened? The police went into action. See, you think the police are just a military force, but they also a political force. Whenever you try to make some reform that's gonna take their power, they do something to stop that. And when Newark set up a police review board, Fraternal Order Police Lodge number 13 went into court to fight it. They fought it all the way up to the state Supreme Court. And the state Supreme Court ruled that Newark could have a review board, but it couldn't have subpoena power. If you got a review board and it ain't got no subpoena power, you ain't got nothing. Because you can't demand nothing. You can't subpoena witnesses. You can't subpoena evidence. But we need police. Look, all these police need to be under people's control. Let me tell you something. You see what happens when the police are not under the control of the people? Look at all these police that were down there in Washington on January 6th. They were part of the people that were trying to overthrow the government. You think I'm joking? A lot of them was from New Jersey. They down there, we walk around here talking about democracy. They down here trying to overthrow democracy. They don't want no control. But that day has to end. That day has to end when all of us unite. This is a beautiful crowd here tonight. I see black, brown, white. I see all kind of people. Ultimately, that's the kind of movement that we have to build. We have to build a movement of the whole people. Because if we build that kind of movement, our force will be irresistible. I'm telling you, our force will be irresistible. So I'm gonna stop here. Thank you for giving me a few minutes. I want to make a pledge right here to Miss Irvin that the People's Organization for Progress, we support you. We will stand by you. We want to be a part of the coalition that's being built here in Jersey City with all the organizations that want to be a part of that coalition. We'll be here with you, and as long as it takes, and brothers and sisters, it's a protracted struggle. It's not a struggle that can end in a day or a night. But we got to get busy. You see how serious these people are? I need to sit down. You see how serious these people are? They trying to take every right we have. Police brutality is just a part of it. They taking back our rights. We just, at our anniversary of the March on Washington, they done took back everything we got after the March on Washington. They taking women's rights. They taking workers' rights. They taking all kinds of people's rights. We got to build a movement to fight back. We got to get real busy with this and real serious with this, because it's a life and death matter. Don't wait until it happened to you or somebody in your family. Get involved right now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
Say his name.
Washington.
Say his name.
True Washington.
Say his name.
Andrew Washington.
Say his name.
Andrew Washington.
Say it again.
Andrew Washington.
Power to the people. Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
So, Baba Larry, thank you, Baba Larry. Baba Larry made a lot of connections for us. But before I pass the mic to the next speaker, a representative from the Jersey City Anti-Violence Coalition, it's just a few things that I want to piggyback off the chairman. So, we know that we here fighting for justice, right? But we got to ask the question of what is justice? Because a person was murdered.
Yeah, what justice?
Right. Accountability?
From who?
Jail? Is that justice?
What justice?
So we got to ask that question, right? We know historically, when the Black Liberation Army, the sister organization to the Black Panther Party, the underground organization to the Black Panther Party, when that organization was active in areas that they were active, police killings were down. This is because the police were wary of the Black Liberation Army, were wary of their so-called actions on all fronts. Now, as we here today to assemble with the people to build with young generations and with our elders. We not making no threats. We not calling for harm. Y'all better hope we don't start doing that. Larry said these people is serious. And they playing action on all fronts. There's so many organizations out here that be fighting for justice. Democratic Socialists of America been working with folks on the ground to have fair legal housing representation for folks. So that if you got a slumlord, somebody that's raising your rent without legal rights, without representation, you can have free legal representation. A free resource. They put in the groundwork for that, worked with the city for that, got that victory, and now folks trying to sue them over that. To have free lawyers to represent people that's facing evictions, that's facing back pay on rent, that's facing landlords. These is the people that we dealing with. These is the people that we dealing with. And we gotta be clear about the circumstances we facing. Because when you do things like this, when you assemble the people, when you pick up these type of microphones, when you make calls to action, you putting a target on your back. Ida B. Wells, probably the most notable campaigner, researcher, organizer for the anti-lynching campaign, said, the people that commit murders investigate themselves. So we gotta ask ourselves, is there a distinction between the Hudson County Prosecution Office and the Attorney General? Politically it is. Morally it may be not. These are the questions we gotta ask ourselves when we come together and when we put boots on the ground. We also, like Larry reminded us, have to be aware that we in a protracted struggle and that we can't look at these situations as isolated events. I mean, before we was out here for George Floyd, and it's a few people that was out here for us, 3 weeks before that, we was out here for the babies that got beat on Boswick with batons and mace. We was out here. And I'm looking in the crowd, and there's a few folks that was out here with us. Right here in our own city. And let's be clear about the mayor, because the mayor came out and said that use of force was justified too. That's his favorite line. Anytime the police get out of pocket, the use of force is justified. Somebody get murdered, the use of force is justified. A police officer play whack-a-mole with a baton to some teenagers, the use of force is justified. A brother get ran over in Audubon Park, and the use of force is justified. What are we talking about? We have an elected official that doesn't stand for our people, that has used our city as leverage to catapult himself into the governor's race. We know that's what's going on. So we know from a political standpoint, from a strategic standpoint, it's more convenient for Fulop not to say anything. Let me pretend that nothing is going wrong in my city. I'm on my way to run for governor. I'm going to prop up downtown and make it the pinnacle of everything I so-called did. This is what I'm showing New Jersey. Oh, just look at downtown. Our city is amazing. I think we might have spent $10 million on a French museum. Africans out here getting killed.
That's right.
This is the nature of what we dealing with. I'm gonna bring that representative up from the Jersey City Anti-Violence Coalition to speak in solidarity with this program.
All power to the people! All power to the people! All power to the people! We are the Jersey City Anti-Violence Coalition. Our director is not here. We're speaking instead of her, Pamela Johnson. Many of you may know her. She has her ear and heart to the ground here in Jersey City as a community organization. And we were at the visual for Andrew and his family. And what a member of his family said in front of the world was that she wished she never had called the police. It ended in death, and she wished she never had called the police. And so she made that call for help, and help never came. Right? And so the first thing for me was, where was city council? Where was that help? I was grateful when I heard the only council person here, apparently. He got on the mic at the visual, Councilman Gilmore. Thank you. He said, I'm here. I want to take accountability. City Hall, we voted over a year ago. There's funding for mental health crisis resources to be coupled with police responses, and there was no answer. No infrastructure was built. No infrastructure was put in place. I had already gone to City Hall. I just want to draw your attention to this organization, to another event organized by the family. The next city council meeting, like Brother Hamm said, is September 20th. I personally was handing out flyers, but we ran out. I'm grateful for the numbers here. But, yes, ma'am. September 20th, the council meeting is on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's only Thursday this week because it's got to be 2 days apart because of the holiday. But the next one is the 20th. Oh, so, yeah, we have one Thursday too.
Ma'am, do you have a flyer? Oh, yes. This Thursday as well?
Yes, Thursday.
Okay, the flyer we have has the 20th.
No, but it's going to be on the 20th because it was about so we didn't have this too.
Okay, there's two. There's two actions. There's one this Thursday, 5 o'clock p.m. sharp, 6 o'clock city council meeting. I encourage everybody to go to Jersey City's Facebook page. There you can find information on how you can sign up to address the council and speak on the mic if you want. I'm always down there talking about important issues. And what we will not let go is that it was city council's responsibility. It was city council's responsibility to make sure that infrastructure was here for Andrew's family. We are enraged. It is really hard to stay civil at this moment. It's hard to stay civil. We're hurt, we're enraged. The mayor was not at the visual. He hadn't called the family. Instead, the first thing that he did was hold a press conference and say that everything was justified. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. The first thing we want is an apology from him. Mayor Fulop, where are you?
Where?
Where are you? We're hurting. It's not okay. This is not okay. I want to draw your attention to Patterson. An incident happened in Patterson because we're shining light on those that we lost. There was a brother, Najee Seabrooks, like Brother Hamm said. He's a brother in our sister organization who delivers services to victims of violence in Patterson. At that moment, Najee Seabrooks was having a mental health crisis. Police were there, they responded, they killed him. The same thing happened. The Attorney General disbanded the Patterson Police Department, right? And now he's investigating that as well. I will not leave or end without giving you all the Attorney General's information. Our Attorney General of this state is General Matt Plinkin. I'm on Twitter right now. He's very active on social media, right? And so if you want his telephone number, if you want to get engaged, if you want to contact the Attorney General, please do so. His number is 609-984-5828. Let's not forget that the family called for help. They never came. Where's City Council? Put your money where your mouth is. Build the infrastructure. We're a nonprofit organization. We rely on grant funding to deliver vital resources, life-saving resources to victims. How about put your money where your mouth is, right? And put money in the budget for this work to be sustainable. For mental health crises to couple our Jersey City Police Department when there's a crisis. At that same meeting I just referred to, Director Shea, the public safety director, said about 4,000 mental health crises calls came in this past year. About 4,000. The city council has failed us how many times? What? 4,000.
I just wanted you all to know that 4,000. Please sign up. My name is Edward Perkins. I'm a member of the Anti-Violence Coalition. We all are. You'll see us this Thursday down at City Council. You'll see us on the 20th and all future events. Thank you. All power to the people!
Power to the people.
All power to the people!
Telephone number again.
I got that number again, ma'am.
Zachariah Jackson, BASA News.
Attorney General
Good night.
Matt Plinkin, 60.